you love your body?
So we just talk about...
I'm going to ask questions.
Oh, you're going to... Okay,
yep.
great.
And then, we'll just see where the conversation goes.
Great.
Sometimes.
Starting out.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, that is a really hard question. Straight to it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
I love my legs at all times, but my upper half, I'm just very self-conscious about it. Extremely self-conscious about it, actually.
I would if there wasn't so much societal pressure telling me the way it's supposed to look, because now I feel like I am relying on those images to motivate how I should look, and therefore kind of sacrificing my self-worth in the process.
My first instinct was to say no. There is some moments of the day where I love myself and I love my body and I'm so appreciative of it and grateful. And then some days where I look in the mirror and I'm like, I fucking hate myself.
I like what my body is capable of and I
Yes.
like what it can do, but visibly, I guess society has just made me not love it, but I want to love it. I think I will eventually.
When I think about the physical things I have to do every day, I do love it because I'm able to do that. And I'm able-bodied, so I can't really complain.
There are days where I love my body and I think she's amazing and beautiful. And there are other days where I hate her and I wish it was someone else's.
I hate the term like Broadway body. Like, it's just because, I don't have a Broadway body. So I should be losing weight because of my health, not because I want to have a job. I just hate that term because it feels like my career is gonna be short if I don't look like this.
Broadway body is kind of going out of style a little bit. And I always kind of thought of it as a joke of being like, gotta get that Broadway body, I'm gonna eat a salad. It's definitely intimidating.
I don't personally think there is a type of Broadway body, but I do think there is a stigma of like, you need to look a certain way.
I wasn't familiar with the term before I saw it here, so I looked it up, and it's just, when you look it up, there's all these classes people offer.
People will post selfies. I mean, I'm all for body positivity, but it's like body positivity, hashtagging body positivity, but also hashtagging Broadway bod are two different things.
When I think Broadway body, I think of when Broadway first kind of came about. I think of the history of Broadway. So like Ziegfeld Follies, those women, tall, lean, long legs. And I wish I didn't think that when I first thought of Broadway body, because I know that the industry now is so different. Like, this is the best time for someone who looks like me to be in this industry. I think of Broadway body as like beach body, where like a beach body is a body on the beach. That's what that is. And I want a Broadway body to be a body on a Broadway stage. And as someone who's like, who advises like gender non-conforming, like I especially want to break that idea in my head of like, oh, you have to look like this, when I know that I'm capable of doing that job whether or not I look like that or not.
I struggle all the time because there is a particular look that I feel like people are very attracted to on the stage, and I'm always measuring myself up to that standard. So when I'm not going to the gym or working out or becoming strong,
You feel bad about yourself.
yes, yeah, and then it affects my worth. It's not just you don't look good today. It's why didn't you go to the gym? You're terrible. You should have not eaten that piece of cake, like kind of thing. So
Yeah, and I also think it's become such a thing to like want to attain. It's similar to that. If you don't have it or if you're not working towards that, there's something wrong with you. I sometimes feel like people see you as lazy if you don't try to achieve that. And that goes into the other thing that I'm very passionate about, of embracing all different types of bodies, because a Broadway body is just a body on Broadway, I feel like.
I mean, I've always kind of been aware of my body as an actor. Even since middle school, I've always been very tall, and I've been aware of what roles that puts me in or prohibits me from taking on. Like, I was never cast as ingenue in anything because I was taller than all the guys in the shows.
If you don't mind me asking, how tall are you?
I'm 6 feet tall. Yeah, and my resume says 5'11". And so I've always been aware of that. Like, I've played men on stage. It's, and that's rough, especially when I was younger, because I wanted to fit into that typical actor, like sort of tall, but not so tall, and slim and pretty. And I didn't feel that I fit into that at all.
Again, I always knew that I wanted to act from a very young age. And I always saw my body as fine until probably middle school is when I realized that, I'm bigger than all the other girls. And I realized that I wasn't getting put in the same kind of roles as I saw myself as. And that was really hard because it made me feel like I couldn't live up to my potential. I felt like it was because I was untalented, or I didn't fit what an actor should look like. But again, after coming here, I realized that that's not the case.
This is the first time this year that I've had a dance class with mostly dancers, so like with all the MTs. And I don't feel weird about taking my shirt off and just being in a sports bra or like a bralette when I'm dancing. And if anything, I've noticed that embracing my body has made me feel more confident in class.
There are times when I look at myself and being in the tight clothing is actually really helpful because I can see what I need to improve on, or I can see what I'm doing correctly, and I'm thankful for that. And yet there's that little voice in the back of my head that says, you look terrible. And I feel like what's unfortunate is there's that kind of dichotomy between finding a balance in those two voices.
Yeah, it's honestly a shame because, we are fundamentally in these classes to learn and to improve, and part of that is pointing out what's wrong. And it's really hard to separate it as like a technique situation, as opposed to like you're learning technique rather than seeing it as like, if I had six-pack abs, I'd be able to do these 6 pirouettes and that would be easier. Yeah. And maybe like that's the big secret.
That's why we
maybe
can't
that's
do that.
why. And so it's hard to be like, maybe I can't do this necessarily because I don't have the technique. Maybe it's just because I don't look like the perfect dancer body. It's tough because it is a societal thing, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Most people don't have that sort of push into kind of having to address your flaws. It's interesting, especially with like leotards and tights. It's easy to understand why we're wearing them, but how we've been conditioned by society to constantly hate ourselves and to constantly not feel good enough and never to be satisfied comes in and downplays the educational purpose of wearing these tight clothes. And it's a bummer. It's a shame.
It absolutely
is.
It's been so toxic. If you're in a class and the mirrors are open, you literally look at yourself and you look at other people. You look what they have on. Do they have this capability? Do they have this on? Like, how tight is that shirt? It's bad to compare yourself to other people, but that's life. Like, you're going to compare yourself to other people because that's just what humans do. And there's ways that you can control that. You can let that affect you in a negative way, or you can let it affect you in a positive way. Personally, I've let it affect me in a negative way, but looking at everyone else and then it's just constantly being harsh on yourself nonstop about not looking like them. It's so toxic and so unhealthy for you, because I've done that almost my whole life, is constantly judge myself to other people. It's like, these other black boys in this call are fit, they look good in this clothing, when I look simply disgusting, but it's just a part of life.
When I was auditioning for colleges, I sent in a dance tape to a certain college, and their head of their department that made the decisions knew my coach. And he basically said, Juliet was great at dancing, she was great at singing, but she's too fat to dance. So when I wear dance clothes now, there's times where I like put on the tights and I put on the leotard and I go, ooh, like I'm so skinny and cute, and like look at my body, and like I'm a dancer and I look like a dancer. And then there are times I put it on and I go, oh my God, what is this? And I look around, I'll walk into a dance classroom and like everybody looks like this. And I'm not saying that I'm large by any means, and I'm not saying being large is bad. It's just being different and not the norm. That's the problem. I don't see a lot of dancers that look like me. I used to say I have a SpongeBob body. I used to say I have a SpongeBob body because I don't really have hips. I don't have curves, but I have this. But who says this is bad? But this is bad for dancing. The fuck? Like, who says shit like that? Anyway, that's how I feel about it. And I'm getting over it, but still, I think dancing to this day is very much like a don't look at me thing.
at least for me coming from a dance background from when I was younger, I wasn't able to look in the mirror at myself. I never knew how to look in the mirror, love myself, or look in the mirror and find good things about myself. I only learned how to look in the mirror and be like, well, I look like a piece of shit right now. I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that, I have these. I hate this about myself, I hate this, I hate this. I hate wearing leotards. I had this, like yesterday in ballet class, I just could not look at myself in the mirror without starting to cry because I hated what I looked like.
There were days in class where I would look at myself, especially looking, it's a big mirror, so you see other people too, and looking at yourself and then seeing other people, it's just like, it is what it is. I just have to tell myself, you know, you have a goal, just keep it moving.
The conversations that I'm having with professors and with friends now as a senior I've felt first 3 years of training are very much crafting your skill set. Yeah, it's a lot about, you know, honing in on your craft.
Yeah.
And then that last year, it's okay, cool. How do we market that? That is a very difficult conversation to have because I am my own product. I need to be able to market myself. There are very few businesses that actually do that. I think one of the healthy things about being in a program like this is that almost everybody is kind of going through that.
Yeah.
I have 25 other people in my class who are dealing with this in their own individual way. So the conversations we are having with each other are actually kind of nice. One of the things that I'm seeing is there's a lot of support. It's come down to the point where even on the smallest things, like I'll see a friend who is wearing a particular shirt, you know, and I'll say, that's a great color for you and you should use that in your headshots.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've thought about that, but that's a great, you know, it's just like small things like that were never really conversations that I was having with my friends before. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it can be constructive, especially when you're going through it with other people. After 4 years, we all know each other to a certain extent. You know, we know...
Been in the trenches together.
Yeah. So we can have these conversations, and I think they're difficult, sure, but what I'm finding is that people are welcoming them and welcoming each other's conversations. It's different for everybody, but that's something I'm seeing.
It's evolved very dramatically over the past 3, almost 4 years, I feel like, at this school. I wax and wane. But something that I will say about Ithaca that I appreciate because I do have friends at other schools is that it's not a hyper focus that I feel the faculty imparts on us necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've had a few conversations this year, senior year, about marketing yourself and about being healthy and fit and you're looking and feeling your best is the way to go about the business, and whatever your best is your best, and trying not to make it other people's best. It's about you being the best at you that you can be. But before that, I haven't really felt like my faculty has imparted that on me, which I know other schools have. I mean, there's those horror stories of weigh-ins.
Or like you have to lose.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something I've noticed about this school, and especially with our peers as well. We're pretty accepting, I feel like, but at the same time, there is that personal struggle every day walking into a studio, walking into a rehearsal space, staring at mirrors.
I think where I am now, of course, and I think we both have said this, where we don't 100% love our bodies yet, but I also think that what's good is that because this program hasn't been so hyper-focused on our bodies, it's given me more freedom to focus on other things and other passions and interests. That when I focus my energy on other things other than my body and myself and kind of take myself out of myself, I find so much worth in myself. Like I can walk, I can run, I can dance like 3 different classes and do it back to back.
Right.
And so in that aspect, I thank this program for giving me a deeper appreciation for what my body can do other than just look aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
I would say that you are extremely beautiful and you don't have to change anything.
Thank you so much. You as well. You literally, I walked in watching to see, how am I forgetting the name? Raft play.
Oh, Bicycle Country.
Bicycle Country. And I was like, holy shit, how does this person command the stage so well? And it's just like, it's like what you do, and you do incredible things.
Thank you.
You still have like 2 years left here, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so that's plenty of time. Okay, okay.
I just wanted to say I'm so proud of the woman that you have become and are becoming, and it's so wonderful to look back at where we were in the beginning of school and see the beautiful lady that you are now. and like I can't wait to see where you go with that and how much more growing you're gonna do. It's been lovely.
Thank you. I want to say to you, Devin, I think that a lot of times you don't see what all of us see in you, and I just want you to continue to embrace even the parts of yourself that you feel are not good enough, that they are. To just keep moving forward knowing that it's all leading to something great and beautiful.
I think you're beautiful. Even from first glance, I think you have a beautiful body. I do hope that once you're out of college, you get cast in all those roles that you deserve because of your talent and, you know, fuck body types.
I didn't even notice how tall you were, and I hope you, yeah, like, I mean, I noticed you were like, I was like, you're taller than me, but like everyone's taller than me. So I hope you know that I think you are like an ideal body type. When I look at you, I think you're beautiful. And I think that it's so weird that we both see things in other body shapes that are,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think you're beautiful, and I think that you should know you're beautiful.
I feel like you have a lot of elements to yourself that you don't realize are so beautiful.
I'm gonna cry. Okay.
Yeah.
That was so nice. No, you are just so like warm and kind and just lovely. You're lovely.
Thanks.
I would say, Joel, you are beautiful. Don't let anybody in general determine who you are. Be happy with yourself. Wake up every day, look at yourself in the mirror, and size yourself up and down and tell yourself that you are beautiful. You will have your bad days, but you're beautiful. I promise you are.
I would like to tell myself, time is your friend. Bodies change. Your body is different every single day of the week. It's gonna look great some days, and it's gonna look even better other days, because it's never bad. I don't want you to do something for looks. I want you to do something because it makes you feel good about you and gives you the opportunity to do everything you want to do in life. If it suits you, and live that shit up.
I've told you this before, I hope I told you this before, but I just think you're like a gorgeous human being, like inside and out. And even where you were before, if you didn't like yourself that time before, or thought you needed to be a certain way, I think you were just equally as beautiful then. And I hope that now you know that, because I told you. And you have a beautiful soul to go with that, and I just think, and I hope you never forget that. And then if you have like a down day where you don't remember that, I hope that it comes back to you, because it's true.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I've said this to you as well. I think there are a lot of aspects of you that I just admire so much. I mean, your drive to not only better yourself, but better the environment in which you live, and to spread your kindness and generosity to people who may not seem to deserve it, but because they're humans, they do deserve it. That is just so admirable. And the care and attention to detail that you bring to every single piece of work that you do is just, it's amazing. And that, I love you.
I love you too.
No matter what you may think of yourself, you're never going to be able to know what other people think, you know, and that's such a cliche. But I think that someone, somewhere in New York or wherever, you know, is going to not find a single flaw.
There's nothing wrong with your body type, and I think you are so attractive and so talented and so wonderful. When I watch you on stage or in like life, what I think is, Josh is great.
Don't be afraid of it. Learn to love it fully. Even when it seems weird and you hate it, that there's something really special and beautiful and unique about it, and that it serves you well.
I think that you are an amazingly talented, beautiful person, and I think you should look more into yourself and just find that inner beauty. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else, and you are just a beam of light.
I think you are just the most phenomenal person and just a wonderful friend. You are this true, beautiful human being, an individual who has something about them that just makes everyone stop and want to watch you, and it's so beautiful.
Thank
because
you
you're just so amazing, Jaden. I love you.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna say.
Merry Christmas.
See you in the fall.